Good day everyone, good day sir. I am Tishela Ipuchidio and I'm going to present about the museum and historical sites here in the Philippines. So first, we have the Rizal Park or the Luneta Park. It is one of our leading historical sites here in the Philippines as it was built as a tribute to our greatest national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, who was executed by the Spanish military firing squad on December 30, 1896, as Rizal was accused of the crimes rebellion, sedition, and forming illegal associations. So first, Rizal was actually first buried at the Paco Cemetery and was exhumed or hinukay pabalik at the year 1912, and was buried at the Luneta Park. So it is the shrine of our greatest. It is the shrine of the Philippines' national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, and it contains the bronze granite monument. So the Knights of Rizal, or also known as the Caballeros de Rizal, were the soldiers of the mausoleum who houses the remains of Rizal and who continuously guard the monument 24 hours a day. Previously, it was called as Bagumbayan Field, who were the three priests, also known as the Gomborza or the Gomez, Burgos, and Zamora, who were executed through garrote by the Spanish colonial authorities on charges of subversion arising from the 1872 Cavite Mutiny. Next is the Corregidor Island. Corregidor was actually a local administrative and judicial official in Spanish Empire. They were representatives of royal jurisdiction. So the Spanish term of corregir means to correct. To correct. And after the Spanish-American War, Corregidor Island used to be a checkpoint for vessels entering Manila Bay. It is a national shrine commemorating the battle fought between the U.S. and the Filipino forces against the overwhelming numbers of the Japanese during the World War II. So the estimated numbers of the Japanese soldiers was actually 15,000 soldiers, while the defending forces only had estimated numbers of 11,000 soldiers. And so it is also known as the Rock by the veterans of the war, because Corregidor literally stands on a rock and is strategically located at the entrance of Manila Bay, that bears witness to the remnants of the history. There was also a huge firearms in Corregidor, and which are used in support of Filipino and American defenders of Bataan, and the firearms are now silent, but the damage seen on the buildings, structures, and the tunnels in the island continues on telling a very moving story of a war that has claimed so many lives.
Good day, sir. I'm Romelyn D. Pablio. I will report the Intramuros and San Agustin Church in Manila. Intramuros' rich history dates back to the Spanish and colonial period. Intramuros was established by Conquistador Miguel Lopez de Legazpi as the center of the Spanish power in the Philippines. The city was designed in a Greek pattern surrounded by thick stone wall made by coral and limestone. This wall including waystone and gate for defense. Throughout the Spanish colonial period, Intramuros became political, religious, and cultural heart of Manila. Important structures including church, school, and government building were constructed. After the Spanish-American War, the U.S. took control of the Philippines. Intramuros continued to serve as an important administrative center. The Battle of Manila in 1945 resulted in extensive damage to Intramuros. Many historic buildings were destroyed during the fighting. After the war, effort to restore Intramuros began with significant work undertaken in the 1970s. Many historical sites were rebuilt or preserved. Recognition of historical importance. Intramuros was designated as heritage site and continued to be focal point for cultural tourism in the Philippines. San Agustin Church in Manila has a fascinating history. It's the oldest stone church in the Philippines, built by Spanish Augustinians. The church was constructed using coral stone and is an example of Baroque architecture. San Agustin Church is known for elaborate and beautiful interior, including ornate altar and intricate woodworks. Its design reflects the blending of European and Filipino influence. The church has withstood several earthquakes, including significant one in the 19th and 20th centuries. It's undergone various restoration efforts to maintain its structural integrity. In 1993, San Agustin Church was designated UNESCO World Heritage Site as part of the Baroque Church of the Philippines for its historical culture significance. Throughout its history, the church has served as a place of worship, a venue of significant events, a symbol of Catholic faith in the Philippines. It's also been used as a fortress during various conflicts.
Good day, sir. My report is all about Fort Santiago, Manila and EDSA. Ang Fort Santiago, Manila ay dating lugar din ng palasyo at karian ni Raja Soliman, pinuno ng Manila noong panahon bago ang mga Espanyol. Ito ay winasak ng mananakop pagdating noong 1570. Sila ay nakatagpo ng madugong labanan laban sa mga Muslim at katutubong Tagalog. Pinatayo muli ang Fort Santiago at isang muog na paikot ng kilala bilang Nuestra Señora de Goya ay itinayo upang depensahan ang lupa at dagat sa timog kanluran bahagi ng lungsod at matagpuan ito sa Intramuros malapit sa ilang puok palatandaan ng lungsod. Ang Fort Santiago ay ipinatayo ni Miguel Lopez de Legazpi noong 1571. Dito sila namumuhay kasama ng iba pang Hispano. Ito ay may malaking halaga sa kasaysayan ng Maynila dahil sa madami ditong namatay at isa dito rin nakulong ang ating pambansang bayani na si Jose Rizal. Ito ay isang magandang at malaking lugar ng punong-puno ng kasaysayan at kaalaman at mayroon itong museo kung saan makikita ang ilang memorabilia ni Jose Rizal. EDSA. Ang EDSA Shrine na ang nagsisilbing paalala at malalim na pananampalataya at matinding panalangin ng ipinamalas ng mga Pilipino para sa kapakanan ng bayan. 37 taon na ang nakalipas, ito ang bahagi na paninilay ni Imus Bishop Ronaldo Evangelista, Chairman ng CBCP Permanent Committee on Public Affairs. Sa ika-6 na araw ng Misa Novenario para sa kapistahan ng Archdiocese Shrine of Mercy, the Queen of Peace at paggunita ng ika-37 anibersaryo ng EDSA People Power Revolution ayon sa obispo dahil sa pagkakaisa at matinding panalangin at pananampalataya na ipinamalas ng mga Pilipino sa EDSA People Power Revolution ay binigyan ng Panginoon ang bansa na kalayaan mula sa diktadoryang hinimok ni Bishop Evangelista ang patuloy na panalangin ng bawat Pilipino sa pamagitan ng mahal na Birheng Maria upang ipatuloy na biyayaan ng Panginoon ang bansang Pilipinas. At nagtagumpay ang taong bayan sa pagpatalsik kay Marcos sa loob ng 77 oras ang mapayapang rebolusyong ito, Shrine at People Power Revolution. Monument bilang parangal at mapayapang himagsikan at hinangaan at naging modelo ng ibang bansa na may kaparihong karanasan sa Pilipinas.
Hi, so my topic is all about the Barasoain Church. So ang Barasoain Church is a Roman Catholic church founded by the Augustinian missionaries in Malolos, Bulacan. So if we want to know what is Augustinian missionaries, so maulani sila ang mga pare nga nagpapalaganap ng relihiyong Kristyanismo diri sa Pilipinas. So ang ilang yung unang misyon diri sa Pilipinas is ang pagpapalaganap ng relihiyong Kristyanismo o pagtutulo ng pananampalatayang Katoliko. So ang Barasoain Church ay mas kilalang the Cradle of Democracy in the East. So ngunang gitawag mo siya the Cradle of Democracy in the East, so, kay diri man nagsugod ang pagtatag ng demokrasya sa Pilipinas at sa buong Asya, katong panahon pa ng pamamahala ni Emilio Aguinaldo. So, ginabisita ni siya sa mga turista, dili lang ang mga turista, kundi ang mga Pilipino mismo para alalahanin ang kasaysayan ng bansa. So, the Barasoain Church had 3 major events in the Philippine history. So, the first one is noong September 15, 1898, the convening of the First Philippine Congress. So, diri nagsugod ang unang kongreso ng Pilipinas. So, kani nga pagpupulong is diri po nagsugod ang pagkabuo ng Republika ng Pilipinas. So, which is known as the Republika ng Malolos. And the second event is noong September 29, 1898 to January 21, 1899. So, the drafting of the Malolos Constitution. So, it means na ito ay tumutukoy sa pagsulat at pagbuo ng konstitusyon diri sa Malolos. So, January 23, 1899, which is the third event, ay ang opisyal na pag-anonsyo ng unang Republika ng Pilipinas. So, kini nga adlaw ang kauna-unahang pagkakataon na nagkaroon ng demokratikong bansa ang Pilipinas sa buong Asya. So, the second topic is all about the MacArthur Leyte Landing Memorial National Park. So, the MacArthur Leyte Landing Memorial National Park is located in Palo, Leyte, Philippines, o mas kilalang na Imelda Park. Named after Imelda Marcos, the First Lady of the Philippines during the Marcos administration. So, noong October 20, 1944, iilisan ang pangalan ng park upang tandaan ang pagbabalik ni General Douglas MacArthur. So, si Douglas MacArthur ay isang kilalang general ng Estados Unidos na nagsabing isa sa pangunahing pinunong ng Allied Forces sa Asia. So, ang kauban na nila ng mga country sa kanang mga Axis power is sa katong Germany, Japan at Italy. Then ang kauban pod sa Pilipinas ani nga laban is ang France, Canada at Australia. So, isa sa pinakailalang line niya is katong I shall return. So, siya ang nag-istorya na, no? So, pag human atong niatras siya sa labanan noong 1942, katong pagsalakay sa Pilipinas sa mga Hapon. So, pag human ato, itupad gyapon niya yung pangako na mubalik para noong October 23, 1944. So, manayon to, nibalik siya para matabangan ang bansa sa pagpananakop ng mga Hapones. So, ang park karon kaya na ay mga rebultong tanso nga nagpapakita kang MacArthur iyang mga kagrupo na naglakaw sa Red Beach. So ang Red Beach, so kanang Red Beach is inspiration ni siya sa litrato sa Katon na Buar. So ang pag-change sa pangalan sa park kay palatandaan na ang kasaysayan ng bansa ng Pilipinas. So ang mga tauhan nga nitabang para sa kalayaan ng Pilipinas instead na mag-focus sa dating pangalan nito na may kaugnayan kay Imelda Marcos. The third topic is all about the Mactan Shrine. So ang Mactan Shrine ay matatagpuan sa Lapu-Lapu City, Cebu. So isang makasaysayang lugar nga gitukod para mahinumduman ang labanan nga sa Mactan nga nahitabo atong April 27, 1521. So ang labanan nila kay nailhan as the unang matagumpay nga ipagtanggol ng mga Pilipino laban sa mga dayuhang mananakop. So, sa kaning nga laban, napildi ni Lapu-Lapu iyang mga kauban ang Portuguese na explorador na si Ferdinand Magellan. So, nga naglayag sa ilalim ng watawat ng Espanya. So, ang Mactan Shrine ay ang Mactan Shrine kay naano yung mga rebulto, no, nga nagpakita og pagkilala kay Lapu-Lapu kay Magellan. So, kauban ano nga dagko na rebulto kay ni Lapu-Lapu is nailhan as the unang bayani sa Pilipinas tungod sa iyang kaisog na ipagtanggol ang Pilipinas laban sa kolonisasyon. So, ang Mactan Shrine ay dili lang isang makasaysayan na lugar, kundi isa sa pinakamahalaga na simbolo sa Pilipinas tungod kay nagpakita ng determinasyon, tapang at kalayaan. So, yun lang po at maraming salamat.
So, the next topic I'm going to be discussing about is the Rizal Shrine in Calamba. So, Calamba, Laguna is the birthplace of the Philippine national hero, which is Jose P. Rizal. And in order to commemorate his legacy, this shrine is built as a replica or just a copy or reproduction for his original house. So, this shrine includes the furniture, a gallery, and a statue of the young Rizal. And this is typically a rectangular bahay na bato, which is a reminiscent for the upper-class Filipino homes built during the Spanish colonial era. So, the upper portion of the house is made up of hardwood, and the lower portion is made up of bricks or adobe stone, which is also known as the sun-dried mud bricks. So, this shrine is a place of journey for the Filipinos who want to pay their respect for the national hero, and not for worshipping in a traditional sense. So the next topic is about the Rizal Shrine in Dapitan. So this shrine holds a historical significance as it served as the place where Dr. Rizal spent 4 years in exile in Dapitan. And when we say exile, it is the forced deportation of someone to the place where he has the right to live. And the reason for the exile of Rizal is that he was accused of being part of the Katipunan, which involves in the rebellion against the Spanish government. In all 3 charges, he was found guilty and later sentenced to death. And this shrine reaffirms Rizal's significance in Philippine history, how his death served as the inspiration in the struggles of the Philippine independence. So the last topic I'm gonna be discussing is the Banawi Rice Terraces. So rice terraces in the Philippine Cordilleras was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995 for its cultural importance. It was made approximately 2,000 years ago by the indigenous people using only their hands or some crude equipment such as woods and metals. So these rice terraces was considered by many Filipinos as the 8 wonders of the world and a national cultural treasure of the Philippines. So these rice terraces showcase the indigenous people's ingenuity and resourcefulness in adapting to their environment, and as well as their ability to understand the nature and its cycles.